Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about Firebase as a platform, what it does, what all is possible with it, why should you use it, and where all it is applicable. We can probably also explore the competitors or similar things which can also be used in place of Firebase. But right now, let's work only with Firebase and see what all is possible with this. Okay. So, okay, I guess all of you know me right now from here, so I'm not going to introduce and just start directly with this. Okay, so let's, before we jump in, let's take a pause and think in terms of, as soon as we want to build something in the backend. Okay, what do I need, right? If it's a website or a mobile app or anything, what do we typically need? Right? So anyone?
Data store.
Server, database. Okay, to start with, right? So okay, so typically when we see that we want to look at a website, or how it is built, in background these are the three components we would have. You'll typically have a mobile app or a website as a client. Okay, there would be some machine, right? Maybe a machine on your self machine when it's a developer platform. If it's deployed, it would be a normal machine, right? And it would be running a web server. Right. And what would the web server have? It would typically have static pages like HTML, JavaScript, CSS, right? And that would be rendered on the website to show you the beautiful pages that you normally see. And to add to that, you will always have, in 90% of the cases, you will have a database where you probably store something, retrieve something, users, credentials, and the same data is being pushed either to a data on the website, or it is shown in the mobile app. Right? So, and now if you see, there is some machine somewhere, right? If it's some machine somewhere, it can be anywhere. Right? So now same thing can be moved to a cloud and the magic starts, right? So now you are not concerned about what the underlying machine is, what infrastructure, what configuration, where do I set up, what is the IP, how do I take it, how do I make it accessible to everyone else, right? All those things have been taken care by some platform, okay, which is the cloud provider. So there is one cloud provider which will give you a way by which you can deploy or host all your static images. It will give access to your database, and using which you can render beautiful apps and websites. Right? Okay. Now let's take a pause again. Okay, and let's. I guess you all have been building website, web apps for ages now, right? And even if you consider last 5 or 10 apps that you build, right? What is the most common thing that you always build, right? There is always some features that you typically need in every app, right? In every website you will be built. So whenever I say app, don't please misunderstand it by only mobile app. It can be anything, website, web app, right? It can be anything. So what do we typically need for this website, right? Can anyone just talk about some features that you build on and off again and again?
User management.
Okay, the biggest part, user management. Login. And to add to that, the variety of login, email based login, phone based login, and of course the social login. And here again the list is endless, right? You can Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, depending upon what it is, LinkedIn. These are the social platforms you will provide logging on. Right? Anything else that you can think of? Session management. Then not very mobile in general, right? You need
logging, caching,
logging, right? Probably crashes, right? Where your app is crashing, you need some analytics, some reporting. Okay. Normal analytics, right? In terms of what the user is doing. Okay, so many times you need to inform user something, right? So now most of the applications are like chat-based apps, right? You want to help customer support help, and you will have some chat, or if it's not have, no, it would be possibly an email where you'll have some notification, right? A new mail has arrived, new message, new alert. When you click on it, you will see something, a new offer for you, right? So offers and in-app, no, some messaging, in-app, and right? Anything else? Of course, database, and where you will talk of authenticated database, secure database.
Data storage.
Okay, yes. So you need to store, apart from database, you'll also have some static content to store, right? So you need a hosting, right? Static hosting, images, videos, anything, right? You want to store something, probably in the best, you want to store it in a CDN, which can be distributed as fast as possible to the user. Okay, anything else? Okay, alright, so we have got a decent list, okay, and probably beyond this there could be something, but again it would be very specific to individual apps, then the list is endless. But if you see, these are the common items that you will need across apps, right? Irrespective of what you are building, you will more or less need this. Okay, so yeah, welcome to Firebase, right? So this is one service that will give you all of this in one single SDK, a couple of lines of code, and you get all of this. Possible? Possible? Not possible? So it probably, it will probably take months, and if you take up Infogain estimation, it will take at least 6 months. And if I want to build this, simple thing, if I I need one app which will do this, the estimation will start with 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, probably, right? So we're gonna talk about a lot of this, and there are two options. Either we do a deep dive, where we take one case study and go it end to end, right from the implementation to a demo. But I have taken the alternate route, where I'm gonna cover the breadth, right? What all is possible, and as and when we get interested, we can probably do a next session where you can deep dive into a specific scenario, or it's a free world, so you can always take up one of the case that you think of, and we'll be excited to see what you build with this. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna go fast. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to start with analytics, right? What is analytics? Everyone knows. I don't want to talk much about it, right? But why is it needed, right? We can possibly know what is analytics. At the base link, you want to know what the user does, right? Typically, you started with one count.php or count.asp, and towards the end of the HTML, you will call that PHP script count, and it will pass the name of the page as a parameter, and it will keep on saying, okay, this page has been viewed 100 times, this page. So you'll just probably do a view count, right? That's the very primitive state where the analytics started with. Now, and if you drill down today, I mean, the possibilities is endless, right? So, I mean, please feel to interrupt or ask questions, or whenever you feel like, or what if you want to know a specific term, right? Because when I talk of terms, there might be few things who are unknown to that, so please feel to interrupt. Right? So what this analytics does, it gives you a lot of means or tools to track what the user is doing, right? Tracking in terms of the user's engagement itself, right? Right from your load time, how much time it takes to load a page. How many of you have been using any of the analytics tool, right? Google Analytics. Okay. Anyone who is not aware of Google Analytics or any of one analytics tool, then I'll probably take what all is possible. Anyone who wants to know, who does not know, it's okay. If you don't know Google Analytics or any analytics tool, what all it gives, then it makes sense to say. Okay, there is one, two, a few of them. Okay, so any analytics tool by default, will give you certain base parameters to give you a visual perspective of what's happening on your website, right? What all people are doing on the website, and that's typically is the most important for any business, right? You build a website to show your presence. You show that this is what you do, right? You expect the user to follow a certain path, right? You want the user to go from one to read or possibly check out a basic thing, or you want to read a story, or you want him to upload a photograph, right, and share it with on Facebook or buy or something, right? You have certain goals for your website, and you want to know how many users are actually doing it, how many users are just bouncing off, how many users are not even doing anything, right? A page is not even loading for them, hence the people are dropping off, right? So those are the basic things that you will possibly want to know, right? That all is always available in Google Analytics, but this Firebase Analytics has driven or written ground up specifically considering the modern age scenarios, right? Where you want to cover three aspects, right? It's first and foremost thing, right? What you want to do is bring people to your website, right? So bring people in. How do you do that? Ads, right? You want to pay Facebook, pay Google to bring users to your website. So paid AdWords, Google Ads, right? You can probably also have install ads. You can have lot of ways where different websites. So possibly when you open the MSN or a Yahoo homepage, you want your app or website link to be shown there. So when someone clicks there, they will come to your website. So you want people to be bring people on board. With this, right, you probably spend money, right, and you create various campaigns. You create various campaigns and marketing. I mean, this is something which is really I feel from Infogain perspective everyone should be aware of, because we are right now into services. We don't even bother about these things. This is our client's lookout, right? Why are we concerned about this? But if you come up from any other industry, if you come in from a media industry, if you come from a product industry, or especially small companies and startups, right? They die into this. They live and breathe analytics. How many people are coming to my page today? How many people are, how much money or time they are spending? What is the average session time they people have? Are they waiting on my website for 3 minutes or 5 minutes? Right? These are the key metrics. People live and breathe on that. They probably have a monitor or television which is showing this matrix on daily basis. Right? That's how critical this is for every startup or any new company, especially a product company, because you want people to come and play with your product. And as soon as we get to these, get these basics right, when we are delivering something to the client, we'll probably also look into these caveats. Are we analyzing enough things? Can we give some information to the client that he possibly does not himself know? Right? So that's where it holds. And most of the other tools have a very few limitation in terms of how much analytics, how much data can you store, because effectively when we are storing our this service for free, they are using their bandwidth and computation power for giving you this free service. So hence it's probably paid or something, but this is a free tool where there is number of unlimited reporting up to 500 unique events. When I talk of events, we'll come to it what are events, but consider it that you want most of the common things are what you want: demographics of the user, you want page loads and page times, but beyond that you want very specific thing, that how many selfies did the user take in my app, how many photographs were marked favorite in my Instagram, right? Those are very specific thing which is unique to your app. So for that you create events. You say event name and give it some parameters like probably favorites done from India, right? And you want to see how many people in India have marked them favorite. So that's where you will use these key value pairs as events. And this one dashboard which will give you a complete view of all this. Okay. What all is gives beyond that is basically it gives you demographic information, like what are the users, right? Which browsers they are using, which operating system they are using, what all geographies they come from, what is the gender of your user. Now you will probably say that okay, how will possibly someone else know what the gender of the user is if he has not registered, right? He is not even signed up to your app. Will you still know the gender of the user? Yes, no? No? Anyone? Sorry?
Deciding on his decisions that he's going to take in your app.
That is very biased. You want to analyze how many users of their what is the gender, right? How will you know that, right?
His
How many
behavior,
behavior? No.
his likings on the website, like whether he's
How
buying,
will-
whether he's buying cosmetics or whether he's buying men's perfume.
You can probably buy for your wife or girlfriend.
But generally, I'm saying you can.
Okay. No, that's not the case. So we many times underestimate Google, but Google knows much more than what we know about ourselves. Right? So every browser has a unique fingerprint. So what operating system, what browser, what are the add-ins and plugins installed on your browser, right? What all sites have you visited? What is a cookie? Not the cookies. Anything else which is there on your browser, which is very effectively one unique identification of one user. Right? There are a lot of tools that can create a unique ID of the user based on this. They have arbitration uses, and effectively, if I know this one user, right, from his browser, from his operating system, which is not going to change that often, right? I know that this is one unique user. Now, if I register to one website, right, and that is integrating Google Analytics, I know the gender of that person. The same person coming to my website, right, with this unique ID, the other website can also know this guy is a male. Okay, and that's how Google identifies your gender. So irrespective of what site you are, you can probably know that the incoming user is a male or a female. You can know the demographic age of that user. If he's logged into Facebook, you will probably also know every 10 other things, what are his friends or things depending on the permissions. But to the very basic level, they will give you all those information. From your IP, they'll know your location. From your past history or other website visit, they'll know your age. So effectively, they will show you a complete heat map of which location you are, where you are, how many, which is the most populated country for your website, and every other information. The next key matrix are retention, right? Retention is one of the most important aspect of any web app. Anyone who knows what a retention is?
Maintain that user, that he keep coming on that site.
Correct,
and
right.
keep using it.
You'll pay a lot of things, and you'll pay a bomb to bring a user to a website from an ad, right? Effectively, he sees your homepage, it takes time, he closes, he never comes back again. All your money is gone for a toss, right? So the most important thing is not the installs, but the retention, right? You want the user to come back again and again. So this retention matrix gives you various stats. So it gives you 7 days retention, 30 days retention. So probably the user who has launched your website for the first time, and after 30 days, how likely is coming to visit again. This retention matrix will give you that information. Right? So it will give you complete information of how users are coming back again and again. Right? Then there is a segmentation. So you can segment your user in terms of unique users. So every one from your users who have actually done a purchase, right, is your unique user. Right? He is a king. So treat him like a king. If you see every e-commerce website, they will know what all things you have purchased. They'll give you recommendation based on something. Right? So they have segmented each user in terms of specific attributes, and so it will give you those attributions. Then you can do revenue, right? Then you will say how will that guy know the revenue, right? So this is probably something that once you integrate the SDK, you have to specify user. As and when the user checks out, you just give the dollar value of what is the amount that user has purchased with this, right? Effectively, because of Google, right, they have the complete umbrella, they have AdMob integration, they'll know how much you have spent to bring this user in, and what is effectively that user spending on your website. So that will give you ROI, right? This much dollar you have spent to bring a user. On an average, $5 is the user acquisition cost, and on an average 10 is the average he is spending on your website. That itself will give you a clear picture that do you want to spend more on ads, or you want to stop from giving ads. At the same time, because of this campaigns and segmentation, right, this is also a part of your analytics. Hence, it will give you a complete picture of what campaign is running well, right? You will probably want, somewhere you have created a music website, and you have created a classical, for classical music, come to this website, right? For some jazz website, right, you have given a jazz, jazz by the bay, and come to this website. Those two are different campaigns hosted on two different websites, but you will see that people coming from classical are staying more on your website, they are spending more, they are buying more classical instruments versus jazz. Right? That's where you know that, okay, I need to spend more time or focus my website more towards giving more of classical content, because that's giving me revenue. So this, if effectively used, will give you all the answers that anyone looking for.
So is it working with Google Analytics and other
This is Google Analytics built from scratch, so you don't have to worry about Google Analytics. Now Firebase Analytics is the thing to go. Right? There's a big discussion, what should you still continue Google Analytics, and most favor that now you should use
So under
this.
it is using that Google Analytics?
No, no, no.
It is their own.
It is completely different product built from scratch, and they're gonna take this ahead now. So Google Analytics may not see much features, but this is where you will see more and more features. Right? You have arbitration, where as soon as you give campaigns, you with a few clicks you can know what all campaigns are doing more effective for you. Right? You can give custom properties, custom events to know your behaviors. And now again we'll come again ahead where there is something called as remote config. Right? So that's pretty cool. Imagine something you want to do that there is some feature which is there on your website, and you again for website is pretty easy to envision. Now just from the mobile perspective, this is much more important. If you want to turn on a feature, right, or turn off a specific feature, what you need to do as and when you want to change a flag from A to B, you'll have to recompile, resubmit the app. It will go into the review process and probably come out for a next week. So it will take 1 week cycle just for that one change to happen on your website. Right? Imagine you have done a lot of brainstorming, and you want that if you know that he's a someone who has already purchased on our website. Okay, we want to show him a different homepage. Right? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? So those are simple key value pairs which can be stored on the server, and based on the unique values, it will give you a dashboard. It will say just give a toggle switch or change the value of a server config, and using the SDK you just read the value of that config, and effectively everything changes. This is very similar to what your XML file or config file that you host on your native apps or .NET apps, but you don't have a control of that configuration on your server. This is something not user specific, but you want to change your app behaviors, then you can use remote configs. Okay, we'll come to this ahead in the slides. Okay. The next thing is cloud messaging, right? We have talked of a lot of information where you want to build a chat-like feature, right? You want to a chat may be a typical conversation between two people, or it can be just one-side communication where you want to say new mail arrived for you, right? The stock prices have changed. Your friend has posted 3 new notifications on your wall, right? All those information are truly available via one cloud messaging service. So this includes, how many of you know your website, your regular browser can show push notifications, right? So if you see now more and more modern websites, if you go to a news site, it will give you an option that this website wants to send you push notification. Want you accept or deny? It will take the user permission. And if you say yes, all your push notification come directly on your website. As and when new news happens, it will intimate it to you, not only on a mobile app, but also on your website. So that's something that uses Google Cloud Messaging. Right? So you have unlimited sends, unlimited streams, and most important, you can do perfect segmentation to send this message. If you want to send a message, okay, I probably want a message to be sent to Joseph as soon as he comes in, right? As soon as he logs in, send this message to Joseph. Okay, possible. As soon as there is some new mobile phone release, I want the entire mobility team, right, to receive this message, right? So you have a specific segment of users, okay, whom you want to send. So you want to send it to one user, a group of users, or imagine AngularJS is a new technology, right? And there are various topics, right? And you have kept it open. Anyone can subscribe to it. So anyone who's interested in AngularJS, click here. Anyone interested in Java, click here. Anyone interested in this, click here, right? So there are specific set of topics, and you want users to freely subscribe to them. And now you want to send one message to everyone who has subscribed to this. You don't know who they are, nor you want to build your whole infrastructure where you store the user IDs, client IDs, topic IDs, and do a mapping and send all those information to each and either user running in for loop. You don't have to do that, right? Everything is done by this cloud service. You just select the topic and say send message, and everyone gets it, right? I mean, just try to imagine building something like this on your own. Okay, and what goes without saying is the scale at which happens. Right, you can probably do it for 10 users. Right, as soon as you look at a scale of 1 million users subscribing to million different topics, I'm sure you can probably not even think of the infrastructure that will go beyond. Is in fact the technology itself, your stack will change, your coding methodologies will change. If you want to do this at probably a million user scale. So Google takes care of all of these.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So cloud messaging means it is a cloud platform, or it is a some kind of a service which I can use with any cloud platform.
No, so don't consider it as a platform or anything. Firebase is a simple JavaScript jQuery library, right? Just you include your hash include jQuery, right? And you do jQuery dot get element by ID, or you can do dollar something. Same goes with Firebase. Just include your one line of JavaScript Firebase. You have one Firebase object, and then in Firebase object you say create topic Java,
So
right?
if I say-
Subscribe topic.
So if I say I'm sending 5,000 messages, so who's sending this? Basically Firebase is sending, but Firebase is using his own let's say exchange or
Entire
whatever.
hardware infrastructure is done by Firebase. All you have to do is just include one JavaScript, right? Create a topic and allow the users to subscribe, and it will take care of all the sessions handling. It will take care of all authentication. Now, is this user allowed to do this? You can do all the server configuration that these users, any users cannot subscribe to more than 5 topics, right? All those business logic can be written once, and everything is applied to everyone. So you can say,
along with library services and those complete infrastructure,
yeah.
which is a collection of all those things.
Yes. So they have a hardware infrastructure, a software layer, entire SDK, and given to you in a single file. So you just include that file and start exploring that features. And see, a lot of things which I have talked earlier, right? If you want to use even for your messaging, there were tools which will give you crashes. There are tools which will report your campaigns, marketing campaigns, and those things. There are tools which will give you your user behavior analytics. But as soon as everyone lives in your own world, right, it's very difficult to create a common dashboard, right? One, because Firebase is an integrated platform, you don't have to worry about everything. You will see a single dashboard, and even if you want to say that okay, the IE user on Windows machine is facing this issue, this page is not loading for him. Okay, that is a a specific event. Because even it's a crash, it will tell you an arbitrage all those things. And now what you can do is create a cloud messaging. You have created you can create segments and groups of users. So you just say create segment and just say list of page not loading. Select that, select where platform is Windows, select where browser is IE, and say name this group as user set 1. And let's say once you have user set 1 is created, you will say cloud messaging send to user set 1 message kindly upgrade to Chrome, and you're done.
Will it share this information? I'm sorry to take it back to analytics, but to some other system, some other application or system as well. Like say if I have we go for a marketing company, and let's say we arrange a training session.
Right.
We want a feedback, so we want to upload it feedback into internet, so that people can see that what is the feedback of last internet session. So we have everybody have a applet. People give
correct. So that will come to a bit later, because that is what you are talking about suits well for a NoSQL platform,
kind of,
right? Where you want to have a database and everyone else use that database. This is more of analytics, user behavior monitoring, crash analytics, and then creating funnels and segments of users. And once you have created a funnel or a segment, you can send messages to those users.
No, I'm saying that okay, the information which is collected, it can show those information. That's fine. But if I want to give those information to somewhere else, some different platform, some other platform, so that they can compile and they can interpret and they can extract value out of that.
Right. So everything is exposed via REST APIs. So if you want created a segment, you give that segment name to users and say fetch IDs.
Got it.
And it
So
will.
it is available.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you can send message to individual users, devices, segments, and there are automatic. Yeah.
Is Firebase cloud messaging different from Google cloud messaging?
Yes. So they have just like you have Google Analytics, and now you have Firebase Analytics. Right? It's an upgraded, better version. Same. There's a Google Cloud Messaging (GCM), Okay, and there is a Firebase cloud messaging, and they are now recommending don't use GCM, use Firebase messaging. It is combination of two things. It has Firebase notification and Firebase cloud messaging. So it gives you two things. If you want to send push notifications or you want to give in-app notifications, chat. In fact, this is built over XMPP. Yes, you will be happy. So it is built over XMPP protocol, and it can give you complete in-app messaging and all other features. And they guarantee it to send it in 250 milliseconds across the world. All the analytics are stored in SSD-based hard disk and delivered in 250 milliseconds to all the users across the world. Yeah. With probably 8 to 10 lines of code. There is a ready sample. 10 lines of code and you have a chat ready. Just create a room that is your a topic and send a message to a topic. Everyone is there. Whoever joins the chat room, subscribe to that chat room, and they'll start getting messages. So just think of an idea, and you can probably easily and simply use and build with this platform. Okay. Right. All it has to do is, this is what it is. 95% of the messages are delivered in 250 milliseconds. Right. I mean, forget about the scale. Even if it's for one-to-one user, I am sure this is not achievable with the infrastructure that we have. Right. Even the ping time from to our server is more than 250 milliseconds. So forget about delivering the entire message. I mean, so right. Coming back to authentication, as you said, right? You always need authentication in your application, right? And that authentication can be email-based authentication, right? Just the email-based authentication, if you want to build in your app, what is the estimation that you'll put? A complete flow. Sending an email, clicking on the verification link, forgot password, sending the email password. How much? Sorry? Yeah, so all of this at server side, yes, one of you have already built what is the estimation. Right? Anyway, so it will go without saying, it will at least say 10 to 15 days, depending upon the scale, right? 3 screens, 3 flows, 5 different APIs, and this will give you in 5 minutes. 5 minutes of code, you can build your authentication. You can build your authentication, you have done it, right? Yeah. So in 5 minutes, you can implement the entire email authentication, which will do everything. Sending mails, registering, creating the users, and whatnot. So yeah, that is one thing. Beyond that, and if you go to login, Facebook login, right? Try to give an estimation for that. If you want a Facebook login, right, and you want to build everything on your own, who has built it, they typically know, right? I have seen a lot of head shaking here. 3 days we are talking about integrating with the Facebook SDK, right? And on the client side, I'm talking about implementing an entire server side to have this thing. You're not just client side, right? You have client, server, you want to allow user to register with Facebook, you want to allow them to get their friends, you want to allow them to share it with friends, you want to take care of the FBID, permissions. If they revoke the permissions, you have to take care of that. If they change the password, you have to take care of that. It's a lot of work, right? Trust me. So it gives you with 2 lines of code, FB, FBID, auth, and you are done. So it will give you Facebook registration, it will give you Twitter-based login, it will give Google-based login, it will give you GitHub-based login, right? All these are probably OAuth and the variants of that. And not the foremost, not the least, you can do your custom authentication, right? Suppose you have built your own server, right? And you want that your login is something that you don't want to share your username and password with anyone else, right? So this service can integrate with your own authentication mechanism. So all you have to do is, say custom authentication, plug in your IDs, and it will send you a specific queries to which you will return your FBID, your user ID. So it will take care of, it will give you the username password, you just give him the ID and you are done. And it will take care of all the session and maintaining anything at their end. And most importantly, it will maintain a unique ID across all them, right? So if a user logs in from Facebook, if the same user logs in from Twitter, right, and later point in time if they try to link him, it will be still merged as a single user, because it will generate one unique ID which is unique across all 5 services. So again, it's very difficult to imagine if you want to implement it yourself, but it's a cakewalk here. They have taken care of all these things, so it's good to utilize this. It's Google engineering for over years, so it was if we use it, we save a lot of time. Yeah, one integrated account. Integrated account.
It works on all the browsers or only?
Yes, all the browsers, including IE. Okay, so at the same time, right? So now you wanted to build the entire backend, right? Same thing will happen on your front end. You have to create your login forms, right? You'll have to create your auth mechanisms, and you want to give a specific user. So they have open source their UI, right? You can easily take that UI, tweak the change, insert your logo, change the menu. You can build it from scratch. That's your call. But if you want to use it, they already have the UI kits which are open source. You can use them. With minor changes, you can complete the entire flow. And what important is, it will also give you a unique user ID which can be integrated with your existing backend as well. So you can build your own interface with UI. The advanced functionalities like email verification, again, you can also have anonymous accounts, right? If you don't want a login at all, but you still want to maintain the identity of a user, so that if he checks out someday, right, and you want to know that this guy has already checked out as anonymous, and you want to give him offers, right, you can still do that, right? Right now, if you try to imagine a website where you have to build something, right, where user will not log in, you still want to allow him to do everything, and after 3 purchases, if he logs in, right, you have to link these 3 purchases with his existing account. If you want to do that, trust me, most of the engineers will say it is not possible, right? It is not possible. But yes, with this anonymous login, you can also achieve that.
But in Infogain, we never say it's not possible.
So you
charge him a bomb for that.
Exactly. So you will say, oh, this is a R&D. This will take at least 2 months. So it can be done in 2 days. So yeah, email functionality and account linking, right? As soon as you have logged in with Facebook, if you log in with Twitter, it will know who you are, right? You can link all those accounts together. So Firebase also maintains user sessions. So if you have logged in once, it will never ask you to log in again on that page. If you come to that page again, it will show you are logged in, right? Unless you clear cookies and all, but it will give you all that. Yeah, this is one of my favorite part. Something called as real-time database. So this is different from cloud messaging, okay? But it will have similar lines of thing. So suppose if you want to build a XN0 game, it's as simple as that. 2 players, XN0, place X in first quadrant, and you want the other guys to see the X out there. As soon as it's now turn for him, he'll click on the third location, and the third location should be clicked on the first user, right? These kind of interactive games, apps, real time can be anything, right? You can see Uber app, right? Uber app, as soon as the cab is moving ahead, the Ola app, right? As soon as the cab is moving ahead, you want to show it in your application that your cab is arrived, right? You want to do any kind of information where you want to build a dashboard, doodle dashboard, where you want to just scratch it, and the other guy should also see. You're showing a WebEx meeting where you're showing a screen, and you want to sign on it, and the other guys also sees it. So anytime you want to do collaboration and real-time work, right, this is the go-to solution. It will be completely seamless, where you can build one table, right? Just put in your data value stored, and from the other side, just click to this node. It will give you a unique URL, right, where you want to connect to, and then the other part also gets the same data. So it's a complete hosted NoSQL. So you can treat it as a SQL database. You can treat it as a NoSQL database, right? You can show rows and columns. You can show key value pair, whatever you want, with easy and intuitive API. Each unique element in the tree has a unique URL. So if you have, something like, Infogain or companies, and in companies you have Infogain. In Infogain you have departments, and in each department you have user, right? And in each user you want to say whether he's online or offline, right? As soon as the user logs in, I want to show him he's online, he's come in office. And as soon as you link messages status change to offline, you want to show him offline, right? And anyone across the organization should be able to view it. So you can do it at department level, right? So department will have a URL, a unique URL. So it will have Infogain / something department /1. So the first department is this. You will get all the information only is this. So the other guy can see only this part, right? And each arbitrated URL can be authenticated or disauthenticated with a specific user. You can set up set of rules that only if he falls in the same department, he should be able to view it. He should not be able to view others. He should not be able to view accounts, and rest everything else is open. So all of them at each individual level you can tweak with specific authentication rules. Right? The data storage JSON, which will get sync across in milliseconds, and most important part, it is available as offline. Right? To build this online is still one piece of game. Right? To make it offline, as soon as your browser goes offline, right, you still can do, you can still play with it. You can still add your things, just like a Google Docs. Every application, modern day application which has 1 million users, if you think in the background, it does that. Facebook, turn off your internet, try to like a picture, it will like it. When you turn it on, it will sync your like with that. Right? If that was not feasible, right, number of users who have given bad comments would be a lot. Right? If you want to give out a comment, if you use your LinkedIn mobile app, right, LinkedIn mobile versus Facebook mobile, right, if you use that two apps, you see the difference. As soon as you open LinkedIn app, right, and something is not there, it will show a round wire, something disconnected, you cannot do anything. As soon as you open your Facebook app, even if your Wi-Fi data plan's off, you will see all your cached information. You will see a comment. You will add a comment and send a message. You will like a photograph. It will do everything, right? And even if offline, as soon as you come online, all of those individual bits and pieces, ye comment kar, isko like kar, all those things is taken care. So this is the magic that is possible with offline sync. Right? Disconnected and then come back again, it will sync all this thing and come and show it again. And again, you will say that two people change the same thing, conflicts. That's again, there are two modes. You can do auto conflict resolve, or you can maintain a mode that whenever there is a conflict, show me an alert. I will allow the user to handle the conflict. That which version do you want to use? So everything is configurable and easy to use. Okay. So it remains responsive regardless of the network, latency, connectivity, and the data synchronization whenever the connectivity returns. It handles the complexity of real-time synchronization, provides the flexibility of conflict resolution. As I said, conflict resolution is flexible. You can make it auto, you can make it manual, and it will give you all the tools to handle that. The security of the rules is again granular at every level. Just like even if you have a regular SQL database, you can do security only at a table level. For this table, only this user has read or write access. Here you can do it at each row level. Within a table, this document, this row, this column is accessible only by so and so. So everything is granular and scalable. And again, a complete client-side SDK is available, which will take care of everything on its own. You can also do it yourself with RESTful APIs for any of the platform where it is not available. But right now it's available for iOS, Android and JavaScript. So JavaScript means most of the web application can also use this. Any questions on this?
So
I mean,
database as well, apart from the library, Java library.
Yes. So Java library is just a JavaScript library which is a front end. In the back end, it is everything. It is analytics, it is BigQuery, it is a data store, everything into one single SDK. So it is integrated everything into one, and you can use whatever features you want.
Sure,
Sure.
Are you showing the pricing also? How the pricing model is?
No, not on this. We'll discuss later.
Yeah.
Okay. Then comes to storage. I mean, what is the time are we running? Okay, we are about to end and we are on halfway. So let's run. Okay. So storage. So it gives you it will give you a cloud hosting platform, right? Where every file is stored on a SSD hard disk and replicated across the Google CDN and across Google content delivery networks in milliseconds. So any file which is hosted, it is again region compliant CDN thing. It will be available as the closest node possible. So if you are calling the apps from Mumbai, it will serve you all the content from India location. If you do it from US, it will do it for US location. So everything is hosted on SSD CDNs. Right? And again, security and authentication is possible. It can store all those content right from your basic forms to even your entire website. If you have created an entire JavaScript front-ended application, like your AngularJS application, the entire application with its asset library can be simply hosted on this, and this will give you a unique URL. It also gives you SSL compliant, so all your access are secure under HTTPS, and it does it for free. Sure. Okay. Right. API accesses through Google Cloud Storage API, and again each of those file access again has a per file restriction. Do you want to make this file public, or do you want it to accessed only by logged in users? So if you say logged in users only department of X, then it will make sure that the user is authenticated, logged in, and does he have access to view that page or that file, else it will show an error or ask you to go to the login page. Right. Again, all the data transfers are performed over secure connection, and this again is network resistant. So if you try to upload a huge file, right, try to do it from a web or a mobile, right, try to upload a camera or a huge 4 MB file, and after 3.9 MB your network goes off, and you will say you'll curse all the shit out of it. But this takes care of it. So whatever is uploaded, partial uploaded data kept in sync, and when the connectivity resumes, right, it will connect from that specific moment, and only the rest of the file will get uploaded, and you have access to it.
What if application crash?
Yeah, so that's what. So even if your application crashes, it knows what the stage it was. Only on the client side you'll have to query it if the partial available of this ID is available, because as soon as you start uploading you'll get a unique ID for that file, and you have to store that file internally before it crashes, and you can
It's
take
4 o'clock.
So we are done. Hosting, so it has worldwide data locations, and it will be provided via SSL from the closest route possible. Blazing fast, available worldwide. File storage, they are again all on low latency SSD hard drives. Every site is served over secure connection, and atomic deploy, and you can roll back. It will keep care of all your versions of your website. If you upload a version of your website, if you create a new version, and if something breaks, you can simply say roll back, and it will give you to a back location of previously stable website. So all of this is taken care of. Any questions? Okay. This is already what we have talked of, remote config, right? It's simply a key value pair which is stored, but the power of this key value pair is amazing, because you can change the entire application behavior based on that. So simple key value store, it can be, and it will give you an admin dashboard to say change that. So it will give you one panel where you can go and make the changes to that key value, and everyone else who's using it, okay, will get the latest value, and based on which you can change your application view altogether. Right. So, and this is completely integrated, right? Everything is integrated, right? So if you go back to your Google Analytics, and now if you try to configure that, okay, all those users who are facing crash on this Windows phone, right, are grouped into one. Now you send him a message that, okay, now kindly upgrade to Chrome, and you are done. And as soon as he upgrades from Chrome, he comes in from this user. This remote config is saying the same set of users who are upgraded from Chrome, give them a special bonus. Right? You can do those configurations like that. Right? You want to do it for a whole lot. You want to do it for a specific segment of users. For that segment of users, this value is available. This is not. All those tweaking is possible. It modifies your app in production without any configuration changes, and this is really important, or useful for mobile apps, because of the entire release cycle. Right? In server side, you are still change your code and redeploy. It's just a fraction of a second. It's what a big deal, right? I don't want to do this. I'll change my config file and redeploy. But in mobile apps, the redeploying is not feasible, right? It will go through its own cycle. But you can do this from here. You can roll out an entire new feature gradually, right? So as soon as you build something new, right, which is very charming, right, you might want to say that whole world, tell the world about it, and you are done, right? But what if that crashes, right? You start getting negative feedback. You will get people might delete the app, and every bad things will possible. But what you do is, as soon as you build something big, only you say open it to 10% of users. So you will create a A/B test in A/B test you will say open this feature to 10% of the users, 90% of the users use the older value, and then people who start coming in, only few of those users go through, and based on the analytics you can then monitor that yes, these users are going through successfully, so whatever I have created is working well, and then you can roll it out to every set of other users. So that's called A/B testing, remote config, that can be all combined with your analytics to give you a complete picture. Again, it's a much faster conventional process of app submission, Firebase console. Okay, test lab, this is very specific to mobile, so you can skip this. So it will give you a complete deployment of Android phones. There are hosted more than 250 variants of Android phones which are available for free. You can just put in your Android APK, it will test it, it will provide you a screenshot, crash logs and everything, and you can view it remotely. So I guess most of the team already knows about it. But again, it's a good to know feature. It's available only for Android right now. Crash reporting. So this again, is very important for us to know. In JavaScript, in some jQuery browser, some functionality is not working. Right? You can probably, track all your exceptions, all your custom logs can be put in here. You can write your own custom logs, right, and say that push my custom logs to this. At the same time, you can create specific events, that these are the set of events that happened before the crash. So as soon as the crash happens, it will give you a stack trace of which file the crash happened. It will tell you any user specific information that you have put in and any previous set of events that the user has done, right, which will give you much insight into what exactly the issue is and how you can recover it from it fully. Comprehensive data surrounding each crash is stored, along with from device OS, what operating system, what browser, what version. It will give you all those nitty-gritties along with the additional information that you want when your app is running. Okay. Notification, again, it's specific for only mobile. It is different from cloud messaging. So cloud messaging is more of an in-app chat, and when your application is running, you want to send two-way communication or one-way notification. But this is more of a push notification that you have, right? Typically from WhatsApp, when you get a message, you will see. From Facebook, you will get a notification your friend has posted a new image. These are those. So when your app is not running, you will get a push notification from the server with all the relevant information. So notifications can be sent from cloud-based messaging. Again, it's the same thing, one-to-one to entire group or to a specific topic. Just create a topic and send it to them. Notifications can be sent to any devices, and again, it is integrated with the analytics tool. So only a specific set of users should get it. Okay. App indexing. This is the new trend. If you see nowadays, if you search on Zomato and if you try to look for a produce restaurant, right, it will not only give you the typical web consumption on the web, but it will also show you a Zomato's app. And as soon as you click on that app, instead of opening the web page, it will open the app, right? And in app, it will open that exact restaurant that you are looking for, right? So it is a combination of deep links and your app indexing. So app indexing is a way, if you have your app for which you have created your own content, so it gives you an SDK to publish that content to Google, so that whenever someone searches for kitten and you have created a kitten encyclopedia, then it will give you that information, right? And it will show you your app in there rather than your website. And when the user clicks on from a desktop browser, it will open the desktop website. If they open that link from your mobile browser, and if your app is already installed, it will take you to that app. If the app is not installed, it will take you to Play Store to install that app. So this synergic view will give a great impact on your app installs. A lot of your organic searches will happen through this. When you just search for a thing, you will get in the search results. You click on that, it will take you to App Store. You install the app, right, and it will come back to this application. So this is mix of app indexing and how it works. So you create your content, right? You create a hyperlink to it that will create an Android specific link or an iOS universal link, and that will open that specific app, or it will open the website. This is more of app specific, but still it's good to know, right? So if you have a app and a website both, right? And both show the same content. So rather than opening the app, website which is slow and slow to load, you can directly open that same content within app, and it's pretty fast, right? And that happens with most of the big apps that you're using, Zomato, Uber, and then probably table, open table. So if you want to book a restaurant, it can do that. Yelp, all the big the popular apps have this app indexing done in it. And dynamic links is the same, extra version of it, where you can create a web page, okay, and then it will allow you to redirect them either to a website if it's coming from a desktop. From a iOS user will go to the App Store, and from Android user it will take you to the Play Store. So you can create one universal link which can work across all devices and all platforms. So dynamic link, so this is again a very good feature, and lot of things, specifically not from the from enterprise perspective, but from customer perspective, this actually works. If you see, lot of apps will show you this, share your app and get 10-point bonus, invite your 3 friends and you will get 50 points, right? All of those community building apps use this feature. Why? Because it has been observed, and all your IDC reports, and every report tells you that nothing works better than the word of mouth. Now, if you see 10 banner ads, people have become almost blind to ads. Now, even if it's now, they had a dedicated area in the ad, right, where at the bottom the app will be, ad will be displayed. People don't even bother to look at that. People just see the other part of the app. Now they have come with a modern way of creating native apps. So if you try to scroll within Facebook or try to scroll within Twitter, you will see an app which is looking very much like a tweet, right? You will see, what is this? And then recognize it's a promoted, or it's a thing. That's called a native ad, right? People have now gone away from that. They don't want to see anything which is ad, right? So what is the best way to get things work is when I tell you, ये app check कर बहुत सही है, it's cool, right? So that one-to-one mechanism has worked the best for the ad industry, and that's where most of the app want the app invite feature, right? So just imagine you want to build one feature where you want to promote invites. So what would you do? You'll allow the user to see their contact list, right? Allow the user to, and how will you do actually, right? So user has to, there will be one promo code or a link that you have to do. He has to copy that link. He has to send in an email to a friend, and once that email is received by his friend, he'll click on it, and you will send the user back an email that your one friend has registered. This is your coupon code, redeem it. And then he takes that coupon code, puts it in his app, and redeems it. How many will actually do it? Right? This is been very good, but because of the cumbersomeness of this simple usage, no one does that. Not many people will do that, but they have made it dead simple in this, right? So what it does is, as soon as you want to create a coupon, just create a coupon code and just specify a unique user's coupon code. And what will it allow you to say, click on share button. That share will open the internal contact list. You can select the contacts, multiple contacts, and say done. Depending upon what the user is he a mobile only, it will send an SMS. If it's a email, it will send an internal email. That guy would use it. As soon as he clicks it, the same guy within the SDK itself, it will tell you that your coupon has been redeemed. These are the 5 points. Right? So the entire process of sending email, receiving email, creating coupon codes, all of this has been created and automated by invites. And you can then club this invites again with analytics, right? So all those users who have done more than 3 purchases in a month, right? You know that these are your brand ambassadors. You want to send them a push notification using cloud messaging saying that, boss, if you give this with 5 users, you get a free trip to XYZ. So he's already a loyal customer, right? He will more likely to share it, and with this simplest 3-piece, 3-click, he'll definitely don't mind doing it. And you can then again attribute the same thing in your SDK, so that as soon as the 5 users of his friend gets acknowledged, you add him to a separate group saying a successful invitees, and then give your homepage a different view, right? If all the users who fall into this successful invitees list, show them a crown, or give them the bonus, do whatever you want. So lot of jazz and those things are possible with this thing around. Again, AdWords, I'm skipping this part because it's more very much similar. If you want to show an ad in different platforms, how you want to do, what keywords, this complete thing is integrated. You can determine your dollar value, how much you want to spend per day, right? In what all users you want to see ads, and it will start showing those ads in those specific users. You can target a specific set of users that only from this user who are using iOS version 9, right, should be able to see that ad. Right, you can do that also, and it has a complete integration with Google AdMob and AdWords SDKs itself. AdMob is where you earn money by showing others ads. So it is again earn, burn and churn. So all three things together. So AdMob, again, it will select the best ads, based on the users. So it knows that the user is a female. It knows that she's a shopping alcoholic, and then it will show you some damn shoes or some other website which are more appropriate for them. So they do all the brainstorming and show the most relevant ads to your users based on the user demography. Finally, I guess we have short over time, but anyways, we started a bit late, so this is all about, yeah.
What are the limitations in this?
Pricing. So yeah, so again, there is no free lunch. So again, this will give you a specific set of users. So there is a pricing thing I forgot to add to this. So for a lot of things, the most expensive thing out here is your real-time notifications, right? So real-time database, because there 5 people have to connect to it simultaneously and it has to share things. So it will allow a free tier allows only for 100 users. So till you have 100 users who are simultaneously connected, right? Not in different parts, but at the same time, if 100 people are online, you can use the free tier. As soon as more than 100 users are there, you have to start paying for them, these services. So most of these services are free, but to few services which are very specific, like for push notification, it will give you million push for free, right? If you want real-time database, it will give you only 100. So similarly.
What we understand, the estimation we can cut down by 75%.
Yes.
70% or 75%.
Depends upon specific use cases. Yes. So just like for our case, if Couch and PouchDB weren't there, we couldn't have done that. So this is everything. Couch and Pouch also gives you real-time synchronization, offline connectivity, and these things.
But we can drastically reduce the development.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Application.
Yes. So all those, all your SaaS platform are meant for that. It will increase developer productivity. Only if you know that this is possible through that. So rather than reinventing the wheel, अरे मेरे को एक मेल आया तो यहाँ पे अलर्ट दिखाने का है, अरे वो कैसे करेगा, उसके लिए तो पोल करना पड़ेगा. A lot of things will come up. So if you don't know of these tools, you will try to recreate a wheel which is possibly done by 3 lines of code, and you will spend probably the same thing. You'll have to the other guy, your other team probably will be using WebRTC, or you'll be using your SignalR, and in SignalR you'll do the same thing, right? A self-hosting, those things. If the Signal service goes down, you have to reboot. But now this goes out of the box, right? SaaS platform, use it and save time. So this.
How easy to customize if I want some different behavior? How easy it will be to customize?
Pretty much configurable. Almost every aspect of this is configurable. Right from your programming, from your API perspective, from dashboard and panel perspective, everything is configurable. The best part is that your authentication and everything, it allows you to do custom authentication as well. So what can you go? You just do your authentication piece, you want to secure it, you put it in your LDAP connection, right? You want to do a LDAP login, so just do a LDAP login, and once the login is done, then you tie it with these services. So everything is governed.
Is it feasible to use for something, the application which requires money, something like
Requires
the money involved in the apps?
payment gateway integration.
Yes, payment gateway or something like bank apps.
Pretty much. So that's what. So they give you a complete. Yeah. So see, it's as good as saying that can I use a cloud for deploying a app, right? So everything is secured. Everything is open under SSL. everything has a configuration of, you can tweak the custom behavior of that app. You can give the access layer authentication. So authentication, authorization, everything is configurable. But if you don't keep your authorization well, you keep it anonymous or login for everyone, then it's our problem.
This particular technology, they are storing our data, or they have control of our data.
So probably they have a a NoSQL database, but again it is not encrypted. So they probably have the access to that data. But again, it is up to you what all data you want to store in that, because you can merge that two things together, right? You store the registration and authentication on your server. All your critical information like username, identity, you store it on your server. Create one mapping ID and use that mapping ID for doing everything else, which it doesn't matter if someone else sees also, because there is no type with the what user it is. So you can then do a mix, hybrid and a hybrid combination.
Does it also offer private cloud model?
No, this is a SaaS platform. It does not give you on-premise hosting of these services as of now. Again, it's a new service. It's been
Google Cloud or
yes. It
any cloud?
no no. It uses Google Cloud. It's their platform. They use it and they own.
Is it for iOS hybrid app?
Yes, yes. Not that's all. So not only app, because everything is available as a JavaScript library. So even for your web and normal apps can also use it. Even for your .NET app, you can use it with the JavaScript SDKs.
Websites can also.
Websites can be used. I forgot to add. In fact, I had another presentation. So
Do we have any sample demo?
yeah, their website is full of demos. So right from where I said, the 8-liner chat applications to a lot of other applications, everything as a unique samples and freely available. And complete tutorial guide also, how you register, how you create your username, how you subscribe to topic. Their docs are amazing. So okay.
So, what database, NoSQL database you internally uses?
Not proprietary.
Although if you want to do any customization, like if I want to create my own document
Right.
to store my custom information, so how do you go about it?
So it is a database, right? Why would you create your own database engine? This is the engine. So whatever document you want to store, you are free to
So
store.
it will be a JSON format.
Right, everything is JSON. Great. So I guess Supriya, your fun and frolic is partially overtaken by this thing. Okay. Acha.
We postpone for your session.
But unfortunately, none of the registered guys have come in.
They should be penalized.
Not many. I mean, if you had 25 there, so people who have not registered are in, but many who have registered are not. I guess again it was overload of information, but I wanted to cover a lot of other aspects, right? To cover the breadth rather than going into one deep thing. So if there are any specific questions related to any of the app indexing or any new concept, because there are few new good concepts they have introduced. So if we can leverage those things in our applications, it would be a lot of useful.
Sir, any other competitive options for this?
So there is TackMob करके है, Syncano करके है. So वो सब है, पर bits and pieces. ऐसा integrated और कोई नहीं है. But if you want to do PubSub thing, then there is a PubSub. There is Pusher. If you want to do
I can use Redis also.
हाँ. So publish subscribe के लिए you can use Redis. So that's what. So in bits and pieces everything is available, but they give you one integrated tool, and the power of integration only can be seen from the dashboard. Only when you see this magic that जिसको जिस user जो iOS user है and they are from India and they are female, okay, now send them this offer, right? As soon as someone, they also have geofencing capabilities. So these guys, as they come in, in Mumbai, right, or they come near airport, send them this push notification of flight offers. So all of this when married together can bring a lot of difference to the possibilities.
Does it be recorded again?